lovely people, welcome. So let's chat about downward facing dog. If you do yoga, you'll probably take this posture all the time, and you won't have necessarily had the time to break it down to figure out what you should be doing with your body, and what you're gaining from this posture in order to work safely, of course, and to get the most out of it as well. So let's break it down today. Let's really get into it so that as you move forwards with your practice, you can get more and more out of it, basically. So I always like to start down dog, or Adho Mukha Svanasana as we say in Sanskrit, from child's pose. This is an excellent way of setting it up. So let's get into our child's pose. The big toes are joints. The knees are just a little wider than your hip bones here. And then come to reach out the arms in front of the shoulders, releasing the forehead down to the ground. So here we're already going to be activating the hands and arms for our downward facing dog. So the fingers are spread wide and you're pressing down the palms of the hands. So there could be no light or no air that passes between your hands and the mat, okay? We do this simply just to keep this inner part of the wrist and hand supported, grounding down, because the inner side is more stable than the outer side. If we have the weight rolling outwards, it's not great here. So really grounding down, palms of the hands, spreading out the fingers all the way through to the fingertips. Now the elbows are off the floor, your arms are super straight and active, and then you're rolling the biceps round and up towards the sky. Now if you're thinking, what the heck does that mean? Your biceps are these muscles here, yeah, on the upper arm. So right now in your child's pose, the biceps are facing inwards towards each other. What you want to do is roll them up towards the ceiling. Yeah, so externally rotating your upper arms without moving anything else. So without letting the hands peel off. So it's a very subtle movement. It is a small one, but it makes all the difference, okay? Another way to describe this, you could think of the triceps, the backs of the arms, hugging inwards towards each other, yeah? So everything is basically just coming in and up, all right? So rotating externally the upper arms. And then just make sure that the shoulders aren't up by the ears, but they're sliding down. So loads of space between the ears and the shoulders. Now from here, as you inhale, you'll lift up the hips, coming to all fours, but don't draw the hands inwards, because this is your placement for your down dog. This is the right space you should have between the hands and the feet. Place the feet hip-width distance apart and then tuck the toes under. Take an inhale. And as you exhale, start to peel the knees off the floor, drawing the hips upwards and backwards, lifting up the tailbone, but keep your knees bent here. Okay? So we're making like a V shape with the body, one line from the wrists to the hips, and the other line from the hips to the heels. Right, so just make sure you haven't lost these beautiful actions you've created with the hands and arms. So you're still pressing down the palms. Fingers are active, spreading out wide. And you're rolling the bicep round and up towards the sky. Feel them hugging inwards. Okay, so from here we'll start to warm up the legs a little. I always like to do this the first time you get into down dog. So pedal out the legs, bringing one heel at a time down towards the ground. And just make sure that you're not salsa dancing, you're not letting the hips rock and roll around. It's literally just the legs that are moving. And take your time with this. Press that heel into the ground. So you can really feel the stretch up the back of the leg, the calf and the hamstring. So the breath is through the nose. Nice, slow, deep inhales and exhales. So that the body can relax as well. We're not holding on to any unnecessary tension. Keep pressing away from the floor with the hands. Feel how that draws the chest closer to the thighs. And let's take a little break here. So as you inhale, drop the knees to the mat. Exhale back to your child's pose. Take a breath in your child's pose. Keep the arms active. And we'll take it up again. So inhale, lift up the hips. Leave the hands where they are. Middle fingers pointing forwards. Separate the toes, tuck them under. And as you exhale, lift the hips upwards and backwards. All right. So this time you can keep a little bend in your knees if you need to. Or if you feel that you can straighten out the legs. So in our downward facing dog, what we want to have is a long, straight spine. So if your spine is rounded and you're trying to straighten your legs, we don't like this position, yeah? Not great for the body. So you'd be better to take a bend in the knees so that you can lengthen the spine, pointing the tailbone up to the sky, okay? Wherever you are, just draw the heels a touch outwards towards the outer edges of your mat. And think of pushing your thighs backwards towards the back of the room. So you're really engaging the fronts of the legs, lifting up the kneecaps and the quads. The tummy muscles are engaged, so you're drawing up the pelvic floor, Mula Bandha, and then you're lifting in and up the tummy button, Antyana Bandha, whilst drawing in the front ribs, feeling length in the spine, and making sure that your head is relaxed as well. So the more you press down into the ground with the hands, the more you're going to bring the chest closer to the thighs, making this beautiful V shape with the body. Inhale, drop the knees to the mat, and then exhale to relax. And good job. All right, so perhaps you want to shake out your wrists here. Downward facing dog is great for really strengthening the upper body. As you can feel now, I can definitely feel it in my arms. And for stretching the lower body, stretching the whole posterior chain, the backs of the legs there. If you do struggle in downward facing dog, if you do have sensitive wrists, for example, or if you feel it in your shoulders, you feel a little rounded in your shoulders and you can't quite get this open position, what you can do is play around with the position of the hands. So instead of having the middle fingers facing forwards, you can turn the hands slightly outwards. See if that feels better for you. Let's give it a go. Exhale to tuck the toes under and lift up the hips. Perhaps that feels better for you like this. Still rolling the biceps round and up, still externally rotating the upper arms. Okay, and then release down. So you have that as an option. You can also, if you need to, if you feel it helps, take the arms just a touch wider than your shoulders too. Okay, so giving yourself a bit of a wider, stronger, more secure base here as well. So there we go. That is your main pointers for down dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. So next time you come to take it in class, just remember, just saying, okay, so what do I need to do here? Starting from the bottom, working up. So the hands, the elbows, the biceps, the shoulders, the head relaxed. Lengthen the spine, front ribs drawing in, thighs pushing backwards and heels pressing down and outwards. It sounds like a lot right now, it's a lot to take in, but it gradually becomes a habit as with everything else. And your body learns to do it naturally. And then you get so much more out of the posture as well. So play around with it, find what works for you and enjoy. And I'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.